What's up, dudes? First video on the channel. I'm the white guy from Fish Stew, one half of the duo. My name's Frank, and today we are gonna be breaking down a little bit of the project file of one of my favorite songs off the new mixtape, self-titled mixtape Fish Stew. 7 tracks out now on everything. If you want to go get that, we're gonna be breaking down. Cool Grey 9. And basically, that is this. Or, not actually. Basically, you know in FL Studio, all my FL Studio users out there, when you click Control N, it creates a new version of the FLP with a number in the name. So we started at goolagoon.flp in August, I think August the 12th, which is actually just over a month before the release date. So we were very slammed for time on this tune, and we still made a banger, which I'm very proud of. We made goolagoon.flp, that was the original name of the FLP before it got changed to Cool Grey 9. But since then, I never did this on purpose, hit Control N 6 times. So the final FLP is goolagoon6.flp. So what I thought is, for a video, we could go through goolagoon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so we can get a nice picture of how it's changed over the progression of making the track over that month that we've made the track and finished it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a look and make sure everything. I'm gonna stop recording. I'm gonna make sure everything's still there and all that. And if we're all good, I'm gonna break down Cool Grey 9 through the progression of the FLP, the FL Studio project file. Hey guys, I'm up here now. I'm in the corner. This is goolagoon1.flp. So what I can show you is it was created on the 12th of August 2024 in the evening. Me and Noah Grimes were in a VC trying to think, what do we do for track 3 of this mixtape? We got an empty slot, track 3. We need a tune, and I pretty much started shouting in the VC, you know what, fuck it, we got 2 demos, but like, how can we can't accept mid, we can't put any mid on this mixtape, we gotta make something new, we gotta make a banger. And obviously he was a bit he was like, oh right, are you sure we got time, man? And I was like, yeah, I'm not, but we can try it. So we were in a VC with us and my good friend Fert from the Fertinator YouTube, and my little brother Sid. We were just all in the VC chilling, and then I just started disrupting the piece, shouting into the mic about like, bro, we need to make a banger, man. So we've started up, and I thought, what's the simplest way to make a banger? What is my strong point personally in starting a tune? It's to make some really nice drums and a catchy melody that's like really simple. So what I tried to do, and this is the first thing I did for the laid down for the project file, is this very, very simple synth lead melody in the intro, which also fills out quite a lot of the frequency range, like a pad, or because as you can see, it actually ranges from octave 8 up here to 4 down here, so it's very high in places and low in other places. So it's a simple 4-note melody. So this lead is from Faceplant. It's a preset, I'll be real, I don't know how to use Faceplant that well. And what we've got on it is okay, I thought the Supermassive was getting used. Turns out this just has reverb within the plugin and a massive 2-second release time, which means that it lasts for very long. So the notes that we press end up spreading out throughout the intro and creating this really nice pad sound. And then after the standard and then the low note as well, we then go up another couple octaves, or octave or whatever, into this very high register. Some work. Noah sent me this pad, which is just a standard major chord, which then we've put into a trance gate, giving it that gated LFO on the vocal pad. And this vocal is also one of the first things I added, because this track directly follows up Warhol, which is the second track of the mixtape. And so I decided to include a tiny little sample of Warhol just to continue for the continuation of the second track onto the third. We just carry over one little element, which is this vocal, which if I play it in full, this is the, you can recognise from the pretty much the whole track of the second track, Warhol. You know, that is from Warhol. And this was my build up. This was actually Noah's idea. He wanted a 4-bar build up, a very short 4-bar build up. Obviously, something we haven't done throughout the whole rest of the project. I myself in my solo music really like to stick to 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars, 8 bars. I don't like doing 4-bar transitions or short transitions like that. So I was initially very apprehensive. I didn't want to really, but you know, this is not just my project. I have to listen to my friend while we're working together. So, you know, this vocal is carried over from another tune we made together last year. It says Bad Man, but Noah misheard it and thought it said Mud. So we made a tune called Mud last year that it also uses this vocal. Actually, I think we made it 2 years ago. Yeah, it's 2 years ago now. But that's a vocal that we carried over. We like reusing and using callback elements to our older music in this project. You hear a lot of that if you're looking out for it. So the main idea I laid out for the drop was the drum pattern. So there's this 4 bars that doesn't really have that drum pattern. It's just kicks, like it's the same thing. It's the same 4 and then the same 4 and then a snare and then a little fill, drum fill, and we're going straight into this pattern, which is this loop Noah picked out and sent me. My kick drum, then a little rim shot, a lo-fi rim shot. And I think I've applied a tiny little bit of very short reverb. The Melder Charm Verb plugin is really good for tiny little reverbs on snares that don't really overly like drown it out. That's what I'm a big fan of using it for. And this bigger snare, which is the same thing but with a longer reverb. It's backed up by this much bigger, more sort of splashy shaker hat. Not splashy, but it fills out the mix a lot. The frequencies a lot more because it fills up more space in the mix. So this is a sub bass, and as I'll get into the details, the little details we've added to fill out the drop later on. But right now, this is a very simple idea that I had for the first drop, was that we have this really big synth hit at the start of the drop. I'll break down the synth right now because I actually made it quite a while before we started this demo. It was something else that was sitting on my laptop. So I made this sound. And without the effects, it sounds like this. It's just a really simple singular note on a basic synth I made. And once we've applied a lot of bit crush, which, let me take everything else off. Actually, no, I can't, because I can't remember. Bit crush gives it this. Well, it takes out a bit of the high end and then brings it back with a massive distortion. This is a quantized distortion, which has a really unique sound and quality to it that I was really into while I was making it. That's where you really start hearing the sound come through, and then made it louder. Put a delay on that comes in every now and then, or yeah, comes in every now and then. Cut out the low end because we don't want sub. We've put a separate sub in. We didn't use a reverb in the end, so that's not on. And then these. And then I think we ended up turning on, I ended up turning on the supermassive delay plugin and stemming that out separately. So it's a lot more washed out and in the background. And then what I did was, initially it was like here, and then I delayed it by that much. So there's a pause, there's that little pause in between them. Which was an effect I was really into, and that started really laying out the pattern for the rest of the drop, you know. And then there's my signature vocal that I use in everything. And what I ended up doing was making empty plugins with just ideas for what to put in and sending it to Noah. I said just sound design, follow the sub, more strict. And then this is my idea for the B section. To not even have, it was more stripped back, it says here, more stripped back B section. So this would be the B section, every other 4 bars, which then has fewer things going on, so it hasn't got this reverbed element. It has got this monkey sound effect, I guess. Yeah. With the drop then comes into, I think this was another one of the first things I laid down, was it switches up after 8 bars into a halftime section. So with the same snare, just on the 3 instead of on the, in this part it's on the 2, and then it's meant to be on the 4, but it's pushed a bit forward, so it's, instead of boom ch boom ch, it's more like boom ch, no wait, boom ch boom ch boom ch boom ch. You get me? Yeah, I'm not normally beatboxing while I'm making tunes, but just to explain it for the camera, don't worry, I'm not like that. And then just to add a bit of I don't know, just to make it sound nice, I'll put this sound. I love this. You know, I feel like I'm putting you on a secret right here, because this is one of my favourite plugins of all time. It's one of my favourite presets of all time. The soundtracker in the Scythe Samir Synthwave in Flex, the soundtrack is one of the nicest. And what I did was I turned the mix down, which takes out the harmonics, you know. There's harmonics there. And that just takes out the harmonics, so it's just one straight note of the high note. That sounds so nice. A little bit of a chord there. And yeah, I just add some nice lush synths on top of the, you know, it gets a bit, you know, I'm gonna stop trying to explain what it does. You've heard the track. It's like, I'm wasting time. And then right here, the synth plugin is high passed, which changes the sonority and the character a little bit of the, you know, we got to keep switching it up, can't just spam the same thing. And what I did was I took this house hi-hat loop. Normally in house you'd hear the like, you get me, the boom 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 boom. But what I wanted was the you know, the offbeat 909 hi-hat on the beat, which is unusual, you don't normally hear that. Which I really like, the energy that adds to the second half. Yeah, that's it. And then we just transitioned a little bit. So I never wrote a lot of the songwriting, and the song was done by Noah, and we're gonna get onto that in a second. And then we just tried laying out a new structure. This is a drum loop. So this was, initially, we were trying to work on, in the VC, me and Noah, this ARP that would eventually get used. But this got cut out of the song in the end, because while Noah was on VC, the second VC we did for this track, the second session, Noah reworked a lot of the melodic elements and wrote some new chords that got heavily used in the second half. So this didn't make it. I feel like it just, we didn't need it, you know, we cut it out. It does sound quite nice, but didn't end up making it for the final part of the track. So that's been the first iteration of this project. I'm next gonna open up the next one and see how what's changed. I think the second iteration is gonna be after I sent it to Noah and he sent it back. So we're gonna see something big, some big changes, because it'll be of, you know, when Noah's worked on it. and then after that we'll see where it goes. Yo, so it looks like Goo Lagoon 2 is actually not on my laptop. It is on Noah's PC. It is Noah's version of the FLP. So I do not have that. So Goo Lagoon 3 is going to be the version that I received back from Noah and worked on. And this is going to be after Noah's changes and then my changes to Noah's changes. So if we just return to the corner and let's get into this FLP. So the first thing you're going to notice, well actually it's really not the first thing you're going to notice, but the first thing I'm going to tell you about is we got a nice little transition effect in the intro. It does a lot, you know, subtle, nonchalant, but effective. You might be asking me, Frank, what's going on? Why am I floating suddenly? Well, that's because of this Noah Grimes, OK Grimes type pad design. That's why he's the GOAT. That is why he's the GOAT. Are you serious? Are you serious? Now, let me tell you about this VC that I was in with this guy. So it was maybe 1 AM, and this guy DMs me. It was 1 AM here, which means it was 6 PM Colorado time. That's the mountain time zone in Americas. And I was in that bed right there, about to go to sleep. And Noah DMs me like, "What's up, man? How you doing? I'm working on Goo Lagoon." Obviously, we didn't know it was called Cool Grey 9 at this point. "I'm working on Goo Lagoon." "Oh, word? Really?" "Yes. Do you wanna VC?" "Man, I'm about to go to sleep." "Okay. You know what? I'll get on for a little bit. Just make some little changes." He was like, "Sure." So the first thing this guy does is like, "I want to add a didgeridoo," and I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So he puts this in. And I was like, "Hold up. Play that again." I was like, that's kind of a hard pre-drop. And he put this in. And he put this in. Now that's going to sound very familiar because that is a very, very overly used loop in this song. It's called concussion.wav. I don't know where he got it. I don't know what it is, but it carries. It's very hefty, very chunky. Fills out a lot of frequencies, a lot of low frequencies, very punchy top loop. I don't even know if it's from Splice. I think he must have done some edits to it because it's just got a word as the file name. So I think he changed it and re-exported it. So I think it's after Noah's edits. So this got put in and chopped up in my sparse section. Obviously the first part of the drop barely changed, and then so these little chops really add some body and some punchiness to the track. I also added this, now that we're getting more into the 16th patterns over the drop, I started adding that with a sub as well. If you're on a phone speakers, you will not have heard that. So, you know, get your headphones on. We're really emphasizing the 16th note sub notes. There you go, there again. And barely anything changed in this part of the drop, except I brought back... No, actually, I'm completely lying to you. Noah did that, not me. Added this to back up the synth. This massive Serum synth. It's just really big ass. In fact, what he did was this. I'm a bit of a dickhead, so I removed most of it. And then I took this high pass filter and did this. Meow, which really kind of comes in and out of the drop nicely. Obviously, I think we fine-tuned that a bit later. And this has barely changed. But Noah, in his 1 a.m. VC where I didn't even know what the hell was going on, he's like, I got an idea. I said, what's your idea? And he started writing an entirely different set of chords. And this isn't a major key. This isn't even in the same... I mean, it's in the key, but it's a different type of scale than the original of what we were working on. In fact, I did that. This is what he made. I mean, that was my edit, but this is what he made initially. And initially I was skeptical. I was like, man, what are you doing? You're getting so off track. Like, you know, this is going to mess up my perfect plan for making a short banger. I got stressed, you know. I was like, But you know what was so magical about the timing of this call? Is it was 1 a.m. Everyone in my house is asleep. I'm like, I would tell him to stop. I would tell him to, like, what the hell are you doing? I would start overly backseating him, which obviously is a bit of an annoying trait that I have, you know, sometimes. But you know, Noah learned to overcome it over the year that we made this mixtape. So thank you, Noah. But I would have started shitting on him, like, why are you doing this? But it was so late in the night that I was like, I gotta be quiet. So I'm just gonna watch and like hope he doesn't mess it up too bad. And then while I was being quiet, you know, I wasn't complaining, and I just started to listen more and more, and I was starting to hear the vision. So he made this pattern for the second drop, and there was this ARP in there as well, which we did not use. I was like, it's actually kind of hard though. Like, I was really into it, you know. This is nice as well. You know, it's a shame we couldn't use these ARPs in the end, but they just didn't fit. And yeah, I was starting to just understand. And the concussion.wav as well added so much weight and like and so much motion to this drop, you know. You know my motion. What is this? That's kind of hard. And he also added this vocal. It's kind of choppy, but I heard a bit of that. I don't know where it is. I have genuinely no idea where it is. I'm actually lost. But whatever. I think somewhere in this vocal there ended up being a vocal that we used. And then what we also did was bring the chord in this midsection. Did this macro automation that gave it this more choppy feel. I was like, I like the choppiness, and that inspired me to put this piano in, which is very choppy and like fast, you know. And then have this really fast repeat on the bottom reverb content. And that really started setting in motion the final changes we did to the track, which I'm about to open up the next FLP, which is Goo Lagoon 4, 5 and 6, and see what changed in those. So I'll see you in a second. Alright, this is version 4. This is where we really start having some fun with it. So what I first noticeably introduced in this segment is these are the chords. Jesus, I'm lost. Wait. This actually looks like it's nearly the final version. So, I don't think it's going to change much between version 4, 5, and 6. That's the pattern of the chords, right? Du, 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 du. And I decided to just follow that pattern with the root note. So even if there aren't chords playing in the first half, because that would kind of mess it up a little bit, we've still got the pattern of the chords harmonically and all that. And this is where I started having a lot of fun with the sound design in the first drop. So this is just a random sample I found. It goes. So I decided to take a tape stop and take the first half of it and go. You know, it goes down with the tape stop. And then put in the hiss with a reverb on it. So that really kind of emphasizes the beat drop. And then the next. We've got some laser design, which is carried over from what I did in the second drop. So I kind of moved it on for first drop, and I did some more stuff with the 808s, bringing the sub. And obviously bringing in the classical.
Dad, it's about to rain.
You know, warning our Father about the forthcoming precipitation from the heavens. You know, the concussion's doing bits here. And again, there's that chord rhythm. We're still missing some stuff in version 4, so I'll go check version 6 in a second. I feel like 5, I don't know what the difference is going to be. So this is where we start getting, I added the drums back into the build-up, the second build-up, to add some energy. And a big change I did was this in the second drop. So this is a bit of a long story. This is a bit of a difficult one to explain, so I'm going to get into it in just a second. So what you really start to see in this section is how I realised about the last drop of this track, the second drop, is it has a cool pattern, but it needs intricate, you know, interesting synth design to really be interesting. So what I wanted to do, instead of taking this boring, singular saw wave, which is essentially just the init serum preset, I resampled it. And what I did was, instead of leaving it the same... Oh wait, hold on. I did this special method I like to do. Let me try and recreate it. That's what we made it into. So this is the synth, and what I like to do with basic synths like this is put them on E3 mono and pitch it all the way up, which gives it that weird texture. I don't actually know if I did that on this one. I might be wrong, I'm sorry. But what I definitely did was introduce this, yeah, I don't think I did, sorry, I'm making that up. What I did was introduce this filter, and then took the low pass filter and took the cut off and made it really quickly zap up and down on a band pass, actually not a low pass. I keep lying, bro. And essentially resampled that, like here, took out the clicks because the clicks were really annoying. And I've introduced numerous effects. I've introduced 2 all pass phases, which is like basically a free disperser because, you know, I ain't buying that shit. So it adds on the texture. An ensemble for that really cool like stereo effect. And a reverb for that really nice lush reverb. Numerous EQs because the shit sounded whack. And another EQ for the filtering. Somewhere else in the track, I know where that is. And I layered it with a laser because I like lasers. So that's where we got into this fake out. And obviously this is just a simple drum pattern. And what I started thinking was, hold up. I think my headphones might have been on the wrong way, I didn't notice. But what I really started to think, oh, we need this synth to sound really good in the B section. But I was having a lot of trouble designing, and this was like genuinely like 2 weeks before release date. Obviously, Don't take lessons from me on timekeeping because I'm shit at that. Don't take lessons on me from organisation, but you can take lessons from me on sound design because... Actually, no, because I'm literally just talking about how I couldn't do good sound design, so I had to get somebody to help me. Charlie W, right? The biggest producer this side of the... He's actually not on this side. I'm on the biggest producer on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean from me, apart from Noah Grimes. Yeah, I'm talking shit. Apart from Noah Grimes, my second favorite American producer, Charlie W, fucking legend, big synth guy. And I was like, Charlie, I need your help. And he was like, what do you need help with? I don't, that's what he said. Something along those lines. I said, Charlie, we need a synth to sound interesting. And basically, initially I was just asking him for him to recreate this synth, but in a less serum in it preset-y sort of way. And what he did was, he went above and beyond. He created this 4-man vocal synth. Oh, bro, this is getting me emotional. It's so beautiful. So what I did was, one change. I took this chord and I just took one little soundbite of it, that small, and I spammed it really fast. So not too fast because that's when you're creating like extra tone, speedcore and shit, but fast enough to change the tone. And that's just the same like dull little beat. And then this is where I finally did what I was talking about. And I took the E3 mono sampling mode on this. I did the E3 mono mode on this, and I pitched it up, so giving it that really spooky weirdness. It's like this. So that's my one change. Apart from that, basically perfect. Thank you very much, Charlie, if you're watching this. Love you very much. We've done a cool synth here from Charlie, and that's really all the help we needed. Apart from what I asked him to recreate this synth, but that's not in this version of FLP. So we got this section down like this. I laid it up with these lasers again. I think I forgot to mention, but I also added this 808. The filter's in and has a little bit of reverb on it. Now, reverb is a very risky thing to be putting on your 808s, but if you can get it to work, it does actually create... It's really hard, but it can create quite a nice, like, wide... Like, it sounds like some large door in a warehouse open, you know what I mean? Like, creaky almost. I forgot, I mentioned earlier about the vocal that Noah added, and I forgot. I isolated this part of it, and we, so we got a low version, a high version, and them on these parts. Most of the track actually got the intro, midsection, and then most of the second drop have this, you know, and then the high version. I think that really just creates a nice effect. I really like vocals in EDM. It's just such a important thing for me. Like little shouts and chants and singing, like ad libs and all that, just makes the tracks that I make for me. You know what I mean? Like makes as in like, you know, adds a lot to the tracks that I make. We've got this outro and then very simple drum beat that I made in the outro, and then I wanted this to be a short track, so it would fill up a gap in between track 2 and track 4. So I didn't want it to be overly long. I wanted it to be like a nice banger that kind of transitions quickly through the mixtape, you know. I didn't want like long songs all through the mixtape. The six dad drops there, and then I'm gonna go into, I think, the final edition, because I'm pretty sure that Cool Grey Knife 5, no, Goo Lagoon 5 is actually not going to be a big difference. And then the final version is what I want to show, really. Yo, literally, in between cutting and immediately clicking record, I opened Twitter. And between the takes, I just seen Tyler, the Creator, confirmed his new album, Chromacopia. Yeah, man, I'm actually ready, man. He's dropping on Monday, which is a bit weird, but I'm actually really excited for this album to come out. So, yeah, that's what I did in between takes. Nothing else. I didn't do anything else between takes. So this is the intro. This is the final version, in fact. So we got this heavy re-space in the intro now. And this is where shit started really getting serious with the sound design in the first drop. Because... So this is, with the high pass, I added this. This is a convolver reverb actually, but it's on such a low version it doesn't even sound like reverb. It just fucks up the sound like this. Makes it more pixelated in a way. And I also took the same synth and just brought it in with this high pass lasery sound by just automating the high pass filter. And then layered that with listen, alright. This is actually a really funny story. Noah made two sounds. Actually, we got on the VC for the final session of the song and he said, "You know what, man? I made this." And he sent me this. Which then got added. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Yeah, nice sound. Did you make anything else? And he's like, And like a minute later, he was like, "Oh yeah, I did. I made this. I forgot." Bro, he shows me this. He shows me this. I was like, why did you not lead with that? That's sick. So he started layering that up in this. And then it comes in later. That is a crazy sound. Noah, you are evil for not showing me that sooner. Bro, you waited like half the VC to show me it. And it basically finished the track. When we got it, it just finished the track. It was so good. Like, what's going on with this? Why is it? Oh well. Not many other big changes happened. But there was this one other cool sound that we did. So this is a sound, initially, that I made while we were making in 2022 our collab Dart that came out on Scan Records. Scan Records in 2022. We were just making a bunch of neuro noises and random sounds. This is called Whale Wob.wav. And I was like, what happens if I pitch it up? But then I added a load of reverb and a filter, so it added like this sound. That is a really cool sound to me. So yeah, just play around with your old sounds and you can get something completely different, man. That's a good lesson. You don't need to make a new sound every time you want a new sound. You can just take something you already made. And then I just add this nice little reverb that plays out over the more sparse B section. And sort of pairs up with the wheel. That thing. Crazy. And that also made its way into the pre-drop. Oh no, the pre-drop. And finally, Charlie W did what I really needed him to do, and he finished up this new version of the boring synth. It's barely changed. I think it just does so much more than the other one. And he added this. He also gave me this higher layer, which is kind of like a choir, and it just adds like stereo and just layers and shit. And throughout this whole drop, we just spent a while working in Noah's Neurobase and my whale bass. Whoa. And yeah, just little variations like bringing shit back in this section, doing a lot. And eventually, I think this track came together in less than a month, because we finished it, obviously. We finished it before before the release day, so it was less than a month. And yeah, initially at one point I sampled my chair creaking. That was a bit weird. Don't know why I did that. I think it's just because I was in VC with Charlie while he was making the synth, and I leaned back on my chair like. Don't know if you can hear that. And he said, "Oh, I thought that was part of the track," and I was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna sample it." Which sounds pretty funny, but obviously it sounds terrible, so we didn't put it in the final version. Yeah. Added this transition, this ambience to transition seamlessly into the next track, Fish Stew Interlude. So yeah, I think the transitions on this mixtape are really well done. You got some bangers such as this one. if you're watching this and you haven't listened to Fish Stew, I genuinely have no idea why you'd be doing that, but yeah, man. Go listen either way. Even if you already listened, go listen again on the SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music. It's everywhere. You know, give us streams. We want money. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you've learned something. If you haven't, you might be stupid. I dropped a lot of knowledge in this video, so like, go watch it again. Rewatch the shit. Thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, next time